As you know, our year is broken out in quarters. We have 4 quarters in a year. Each quarter has 3 months. So in our in our year-round homeschooling, here are the subjects that we focus on year-round. We're going to do English Language Arts, that's ELA. It should be ELAR, English Language Arts and Reading. So we're going to do something in that category. And that category includes things such as reading, spelling, vocabulary, grammar, and things of that nature. We're going to do math year-round. We're going to do Bible year-round. Bible also includes character building and good citizenship. So that's year-round. We're going to do Together Time. Together Time is where we do some topics together. We'll do Bible study within the Together Time. We'll do penmanship. We'll do current events. We'll do read alouds. We'll do growth mindset. We'll do those things during Together Time. So having Together Time, which is about 3 days per week, is year round. Topics will change depending on what we're learning. We're going to have African Studies year round. African Studies focuses on both pre-colonization, and it also looks at African influences all around the world. So it focuses strictly on the rich legacy of African Americans or Africans in general, or Black and brown people. We also will have electives too, year around. Let me tell you a little bit about what's included in electives 2. Although we have electives 2 year round, it doesn't mean that everything I'm about to discuss with you, which is a part of electives 2, takes place every single quarter. I may break down electives 2 and discuss one or focus on one aspect for 2 quarters and focus on another aspect for 1 quarter, or some may focus on 3 quarters. But again, everything I'm about to talk about under electives 2 does not occur every single time I teach or within every single quarter. However, we do something within that block or that loop year round. Let me show you. Our electives 2 loop consists of writing, both free writing and the formal process. It includes poetry, it includes literature, picture study, formal logic. Okay, so within this area, this is where we'll do our free writing. This is where we'll focus on the formal writing process. This is where we'll talk about research papers, book reports. This is where we will do rhetoric. I'm not sure if I just said that, but rhetoric, focus on analysis of information, reading the harder literatures and trying to break down what the author was saying, do some compare and contrast with various characters in a particular book, and things of that nature. So again, electives 2, the loop, consists of that type of work. Something else we will do year round is electives 3. And let's talk about what's included in our electives 3. Again, although we do electives 3 year round, doesn't necessarily mean that we are doing everything I'm about to talk to or talk about every single quarter. Okay, here we go. Here is our electives 3 loop. This is everything that we include within electives 3. Electives 3 can be done as a standalone conversation or project or study, and or we can include it within our Together Time. Remember, I said that in our Together Time, we do something called growth mindset. That's just positive thinking, confidence building, and things of that nature. So we normally do our growth mindset type of lessons and conversations and projects during Together Time because it's a lot of conversation. And everything else on this list under electives loop 3, we do it separately. Again, we're not discussing every single one of these topics every single quarter. Based on what's going on in the world, based on what's going on in our household, based on some of the character gaps that our children may be having at a particular moment, we'll touch on that topic. So some of our topics are financial literacy, good citizenship, also that's a part of Bible as well, personal finance, economics, nutrition, physical education, critical thinking, typing, soft skills, personal development, career research, time management, self-care and grooming, hygiene, leadership, relationships, communication, public speaking, cleaning, cooking, foreign language, presentation skills, rhetorical skills, community service. One thing I forgot to mention, and something that we do every single quarter year round within our homeschool, is science. So I did forget to mention that science is also done year round, but we do a little something special with that. With the science, we may not do the same topic all year round. So for example, if we are in a particular science book, and we're working through that book for quarters 1 through quarters 2, depending on what we've learned during the first 2 quarters, I may focus on 1 or 2 particular areas as unit studies, and we'll dive into those areas in quarters 3 and quarters 4, rather than completing the book. As an example, we're using the Barron's of the Barron's book, the one that says In the Beginning. So we're doing the Barron's science book called In the Beginning for quarters 1 and quarters 2. However, I pulled out a unit study for, what is it called? Astronomy. And I pulled out a unit study for the human body, the different systems of the body, general systems of the body. So for quarters 1 and quarters 2, we're going to work through the book and get to wherever we get. Quarter 3, we're going to focus on a 3-month unit study on astronomy, because the book touched on astronomy, but it was just a chapter or 2. So we're going to dive into the Apologia astronomy book and finish that book. These Apologia books, like the astronomy, the anatomy and physiology, those can be done in like 3 to 6 months. So we're going to do that book. Okay, I'm not sure what just happened, but okay. So in quarter 3, we're going to do the Apologia astronomy, and we should be able to finish that in 3 to 4 months. And then in quarter 4, we're going to dive into the different systems of the body, like the circulatory system, skeleton system, and things of that nature. So we're going to use Apologia astronomy for quarter 3, because the Barron book that we discussed in quarters 1 and 2 is going to bring us to that point. And then we're going to discuss the different body systems using the Human Body Detectives curriculum in quarter 4. And we should be able to complete that in 3 to 4 months as well. Okay, so that's how we do our science year round. And then the following year, we'll pick up where we left off on the Barron In the Beginning, finish it through. And then if anything, comes up that's of interest, we'll do a unit study for that particular item. So we normally are going to get through 2 full science curriculums in a year, if that makes sense. Okay, so the only subject that is looped and blocked in our school is Electives 1. And with Electives 1, when I say loop, it just means if we're having more than one subject under that category, we'll spiral through it. Or, well, that's not the right word. We will loop through it, which means if we start with one subject today and we finish it, we'll jump to the next subject under that category the next day. If we're not done with it, we'll just finish it up. And then once we're done, it may take 2 or 3 days, instruction days, then we'll jump to the next one. So that's what looping is. But the reason why I call it block is because every quarter is a block. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, 4 quarters. Each block or quarter has its own set of information under that subject. So Electives 1 includes geography, U.S. government, history, and world history, U.S. history and world history. So for quarter 1 under Electives 1, block 1, so quarter 1 is also block 1 for us. we're focusing on straight geography. You know, where is everything located? How do you map? What's an equator? Everything centered around geography, direction, things of that nature. Block 2 and quarter 2, we're going to focus on electives 1, but under electives 1, we're focusing on U.S. history and U.S. government through geography. So this is where we're going to focus on the different regions of the United States, and we're going to talk about what happened in that region in terms of U.S. history, and we're going to talk about what did government look like. So we're doing that through geography. And this is why we focus on pre-colonization in our homeschool before we even dive into U.S. history, because I want to make sure that our children have a firm understanding of the rich history of their ancestors and their heritage. So when they start learning about world history and U.S. history and government, they have a framework to work from. Block 3, which is also quarter 3 for electives 1, we are focusing on U.S. government and U.S. history. So it doesn't have to be specific on geography, location, but it's going to just be general and talk about everything. Let's jump back to block 2. So when I say through geography about the regions, this is where we're also going to learn the presidents. We're going to learn the state names and capitals and things of that nature. We're not going to learn all the states. We're not going to learn all the presidents in 1 quarter or even in 2 quarters, okay? This may take a complete year, because the way we teach history through a timeline. So at any particular time within history, we're going to learn, okay, sorry about that. At any particular time in history, we're going to learn about everything that took place at that specific time. So if we are focusing on, how the United States became to be what it is, however it began, that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on what took place then, what the government looked like then, if there were any key players, any presidents at that time. So we're learning everything in order, in the order in which it occurred through history. So again, this may take us a full year to complete. So although you see it in block 2 and block 3, we're going to stop and pick back up the following year, depending on where we left off. Okay. Block 3, I just said for electives 1 is U.S. government, U.S. history. And block 4, which is quarter 4 under electives 1, this is where we focus on world history. And again, we learned about African studies pre-colonization. We're learning about U.S. history and U.S. government. And we're also going to learn about world history. And we're going to be able to link things together as we learn them within the timeline. And we also are going to be studying the Bible to also understand biblically what took place during those particular times biblically. And we're going to talk, analyze, and link things together. So that is how we do, these are the subjects that we teach in our homeschool. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to just, add them in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys sticking with me on this kind of long video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And as always, you make it a great day. Thank you. Bye.